Probably the most memorable day in poker for me was 2006, the World Series, when I was at the feature table and got beat up pretty bad. And that was my second World Series, first time playing the main event, and I still remember that day.
I think my most memorable day in poker was when me and my good friend Jason Koon chopped a big tournament in Florida in 2016. It was a big 5K, $1 million up top, and we ended up getting heads up, after a chop. So that was an all-time day.
One of the random private Asian cash game days where I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. And the next thing you know, we're in a private room with two dealers dealing cards out so fast so everyone can continue the action, and guys blowing smoke in your face, and the stakes that you thought you were going to play ended up becoming 4 times that, and you don't have cell phone service to text your pals, and next thing you know, you're playing 4 times too big a stakes. Or it would be a moment like that, or it would be one of the Montenegro short deck tournament that I won a couple of months ago was really memorable because I played tons of cash game hours prior to this, and I remember just chugging caffeine, doing my best to hang on to any bit of energy I had left to finish up that final table. So both of those would be really memorable days.
My most memorable day in poker was winning the open face Chinese championship in Prague at like 4 in the morning, and just immediately having steak and champagne.
Winning the 25K high roller at Hard Rock. I came back from a quarter of a big blind on the money bubble to win the whole tournament, so that was a cool experience.
My most memorable day in poker is probably not, it's not a very, it's both a positive and a negative one. It was when I final tabled PCA, and I had never really experienced emotion like after I busted. I ended up getting 8th place and lost like a large flip, and it was the biggest final table I'd ever made. And I didn't know how much obviously, like being a very serious poker player, it meant a lot to me, but I didn't know until that moment when I busted, because I didn't feel that excited going into the final table. It felt just like, okay, this is cool, let's do this. And then after I busted, it was like a physical, like a fist hitting me. It was like a weird, this feeling of like, man, I can like barely walk back to my room in the Bahamas. Like it was just a really strange moment, and it's definitely affected the way that I come to final tables. Where it's like, okay, like I need to not have it matter this much, even though, obviously when you're playing in the spot for, life-changing money or, a huge amount up top, it's always going to affect you, but I think like, I'll always remember that, and not just in like a negative light, but as like a very strong learning experience.
It was 4 or 5 years ago. I got second to Steve Sung in a 25K, 6 max, no limit World Series event. And there was one specific hand where I wish that I 3-bet jam turn with 0 outs. I really thought it was the right play at the time, and it would have worked, and might have led to me winning the bracelet, and I actually replay that hand all the time.
My most memorable day in poker has to be the final table in Barcelona when I played with Ilari and with the hats and a lot of stuff, million on the line. That has to be it.
I was smoking some weed, and I usually don't smoke weed, so it was maybe the second time in my life. And going to bed, open the laptop and see in the lobby at 100-200 there is a really big recreational player playing heads up against a reg, and I don't feel it yet. So like I'm running in the office, jump on the table and play, and suddenly like another recreational player joins and a third recreational player joins, and then a no limit specialist joined. So the game was insane. And what happened is then suddenly like the effects of the weed kick in, and I get higher and higher and higher, and like I get totally paranoid. Value betting, I was scared of value betting, like easy value bets, and after like 2 hours I had to quit the table because I could not take the responsibility anymore for the game. And that was definitely the softest game I've played in my life, and unfortunately I should have not smoked.